Welcome, and welcome back to the Healthy Grandparents Podcast. This is a very special, gentle health deep dive we've created just for you, our listeners who are grandparents, and, well, any adult 60 plus who wants to stay sharp and sleep better, move with a little less pain, and really just age with a sense of calm and confidence. We are truly so grateful that you've chosen to spend this quiet time with us today. We're starting today with a question that honestly is the source of so much quiet frustration for so many of you. What do you do? What is the action you can take when you are completely and utterly exhausted? Your body feels heavy, it feels tired, but your mind is still spinning. You look up, you're staring at the ceiling, and the clock says 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. What is the path back to the peace of sleep? Today, we're diving deep into a simple, completely natural, drug-free routine. It's a gentle path back to your body's inherent natural sleep rhythm. This routine was developed by a very respected geriatric physician, and the source material we've looked at indicates it helped over 1,000 seniors successfully reclaim their sleep. Our mission today is to break down exactly how and why this works, giving you the specific tools to try tonight. And joining me for this very gentle deep dive is a voice you know and trust, ready to guide us through the science of that mind-body connection. Please welcome our psychology expert specializing in later life wellness.
Thank you so much. It is always a pleasure to be here. Sleep is just such a cornerstone of health, particularly as we age, and I know it's a central concern for so many of our listeners. And you hit on the core feeling right away. For seniors, sleep isn't just about physical restoration. It's about achieving peace. It's about that dedicated, safe healing time for the body. And most importantly, it's about feeling safe in your own body again. Especially after decades of, holding things together, navigating complex transitions, and often carrying the emotional load for your whole family. That feeling of safety is really what we're after.
That desire for safety and peace, that is the exact spirit of this deep dive. Now, before we explore this gentle routine, we must pause for a very important reminder. It's a message of self-compassion and safety that we want to weave naturally throughout our entire conversation.
Yes, absolutely. We're talking about gentle movement and breath work today. And please remember that this deep dive is strictly for education and for general information only. We are sharing research-backed tools, but we're not diagnosing or treating or curing any medical condition.
It is so essential that you always talk with your personal doctor or maybe a physical therapist before trying any new breathing exercises, stretches, or routines. Particularly if you have underlying conditions like heart disease or chronic joint problems or balance issues, especially if you take any prescription medication, as some breathing changes can, they can affect heart rate and blood pressure.
And this is truly the most critical part of the philosophy we're sharing today. If anything we describe, whether it's a specific stretch or the breathing technique, if it causes you pain or dizziness or sharp discomfort or any kind of distress, you must stop immediately. We are extending a gentle invitation to calm today.
Right.
You're absolutely never, ever forcing it.
We will come back to that phrase, inviting calm, because that is the entire underlying philosophy of Dr. Kenji Adams' work. And if this gentle, science-informed approach resonates with you, please take just a moment right now, pause the player, and like this deep dive. Share it with a friend or a neighbor who might be struggling, and subscribe to the Healthy Grandparents Podcast. It really does help us reach more people who need this clear, gentle guidance. So let's start with that frustration, the experience of lying in bed exhausted, but the brain simply won't shut off, or waking up at 3 a.m. feeling stiff, foggy, and just profoundly agitated. So many people immediately assume this is just a sign of getting old or inevitable insomnia, but what does the science say?
That assumption that it's just age is perhaps the biggest hurdle we have to overcome. That feeling of agitation is completely valid, but it is not inevitable. In fact, Dr. Kenji Adams, the originator of this routine, he spent decades trying to validate this experience scientifically. He found that the frustration wasn't the core issue. The tension was. And the data truly backs this up. There was a groundbreaking 2022 study. It revealed that over 70% of adults past retirement age struggle with sleep. But not primarily because of age-related physical deterioration or, classic chronic insomnia, but because of accumulated chronic tension buildup in the nervous system. They're wired, not truly broken.
70%, that's a massive demographic of people living in the state of tired but wired.
Yeah.
This completely shifts the focus then. It's not about finding a stronger medication. It's about addressing tension that has been quietly stored up for decades.
Exactly. And the tension Dr. Kinji describes isn't always something you consciously feel as stress. It's subtle. It often resides in the muscles around the shoulders, the neck, and the jaw. And this is why that typical sleep advice like optimizing your lighting or drinking warm tea, it often doesn't work. Those strategies are external cues. They don't address the deep physiological tension the nervous system is holding on to internally.
But I have to ask a challenging question here. If 70% of people in this age bracket are experiencing this, doesn't that suggest there is some age factor involved? I mean, why does the nervous system suddenly struggle to release tension later in life?
That is such an insightful question. It's not that the nervous system suddenly breaks down. It's more that the ability to process and release stress naturally diminishes, much like an older vehicle needing a bit more maintenance. The primary issue is accumulation and habituation. For 50 years, the system was highly responsive, able to shift from on to off pretty easily, but chronic low-grade stress, it kind of hardens the system. Also, our mobility decreases, which means we don't naturally move as much during the day to physically shake off stress the way children do. So the sleep system isn't broken, it's just confused. It's confused because it's receiving these consistent, incorrect signals of a low-grade threat.
And this realization that the confusion is rooted in tension, not age, that's what led him to develop the natural sleep recalibration routine. Tell us a bit about Dr. Kenji Adams.
Dr. Kenji Adams is a really fascinating figure. He's a geriatric physician in his 70s, Japanese American, and he spent decades treating older adults here in the US. He became really intrigued by the concept of ikigai and the longevity he observed in Japan. So he traveled there multiple times, studying the daily routines of healthy, long-lived Japanese grandparents.
And what he found really surprised him, prompting him to change his entire clinical practice.
It was profoundly simple. He realized that the seniors who reported the most restful, deep sleep, they weren't necessarily the ones with the newest gadgets or the perfect diet. They were the ones who incorporated specific, gentle, rhythmic movements and specific breathing patterns into their routines, especially right before lying down. And these weren't high-impact exercises or complex yoga poses. They were low-effort invitations to rest.
So the goal of his resulting routine is clear: to drain the nervous system of that accumulated tension and retrain the body and mind to recognize safety again. And he uses a wonderful, very visual analogy to explain this core problem, which he calls the nervous system bucket.
This analogy is so crucial for our listeners because it validates why small things can impact sleep so much. I'd like to invite everyone to just visualize this slowly with me. Imagine your nervous system as a physical bucket located somewhere in your body, maybe your chest or your head. Now, throughout the day, every stressful event, no matter how tiny, acts like a drop of water filling that bucket.
Let's expand on those drops for a moment, because they are often too subtle for us to even recognize as stress. What are some of those granular everyday stresses that fill a senior's bucket?
Oh, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And they are profound. A drop could be worrying about a new medication schedule or trying to navigate complex retirement paperwork. It could be the feeling of guilt for having to ask a child for help. It could be the physical twinge in the hip when you climb the stairs, reminding you of vulnerability.
A very common one, I'd imagine, is the fatigue of caregiving for a spouse, or just that deep, quiet isolation that some people feel.
Absolutely. Even just sitting too long is a stress drop because it signals stagnation to the nervous system. So it's just drop, 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 drop all day long.
So by the time we feel physically tired and we finally settle down for the night, the bucket isn't just full, it's overflowing, even though we haven't faced any acute major danger.
Precisely. And that overflow means that even if you're physically exhausted, the nervous system, that master control system, is stuck in the alerted state. It's stuck in fight or flight mode. It is actively resisting the healing state, the rest and repair mode, regardless of how dark your room is.
I think this helps explain why we lie in bed, pleading for sleep, yet our bodies are actively resisting. The body has adapted to this chronic stimulation and tension. It ignores external calming cues because it believes it has to stay on guard.
Absolutely. The nervous system thinks, if I stop paying attention, those stress drops might turn into a flood. I have to stay ready. So we turn off the TV, we brush our teeth, we put on our sleep mask. These are all wind down signals, but they're being overridden by that internal tension.
Dr. Kenji's brilliant solution, then, is that we have to use two specific tools to send a clear, undeniable safety signal directly to the nervous system, bypassing that anxious, racing mind.
And those two tools are breath and gentle movement. He realized that the brain responds much faster to physical and rhythmic cues than it does to mental commands. His whole philosophy centers on inviting the body back into a state of trust and safety.
And this leads us to the core philosophy that governs the next two phases of the routine. Breath and body are the remote control of the brain.
It's such a powerful way to think about it, isn't it? If you change the posture even slightly and you change the rhythm of the breath, the brain receives a new nonverbal message. The environment is safe. And the second rule that must govern every single movement we discuss is sleep loves slow. Speed and force are the enemies of rest. We have to embody slowness to convince the nervous system to finally let go.
Okay, let's move into that first tool, the breath. Because Dr. Kenji insists that true sleep preparation doesn't begin in the body, it begins in the nervous system. The technique he utilizes is known as box breathing, or 4-4-4-4 breathing.
This technique is just phenomenal because it's structured enough to distract the busy mind, but it's gentle enough for older adults. It's widely used by therapists to disrupt panic attacks and, famously, by high-stress professionals like Navy pilots. Not when they're in danger, but specifically when they need to rapidly downshift their stress response.
What exactly is the physiological mechanism at work here? Why is this structured 4-4-4-4 timing so much more powerful than just taking a few random deep breaths?
It's all about consistency and the profound connection to the vagus nerve, the even rhythm: inhale, hold, exhale, pause, pause. It forces the cardiovascular system to stabilize. This immediately slows the heart rate and it lowers the production of cortisol, that primary stress hormone. But the vagus nerve is the real key.
The vagus nerve.
It's the longest cranial nerve and it runs from your brainstem through your neck and chest all the way down to your abdomen. It is the primary highway for the parasympathetic nervous system.
Which is the rest and digest branch.
Exactly. The rest, digest, and repair branch. And when we breathe into the lower belly, what we call diaphragmatic breathing, it gently massages and stimulates that vagus nerve.
I need to clarify that difference because so many of us just breathe into our chests. What's the difference between that shallow chest breathing and deep diaphragmatic breathing?
Well, when you breathe only into your chest, lifting your collarbones and shoulders, the nervous system registers a quick, shallow breath. And that's the signature of fear or exertion. That actually triggers a mild fight or flight response. Conversely, when the lower belly expands gently, that deep, slow movement fully engages the diaphragm. This slows the heartbeat, and most critically, it improves your heart rate variability, or HRV.
And a higher HRV is a good thing.
It's a very good thing. So the physiological signature of a safe, relaxed body. Yeah. So by stimulating the vagus nerve through diaphragmatic breathing, you are sending the undeniable high priority message: we are safe and we are resting.
So this isn't just a mental trick at all, it is a biological shift. Let's prepare our listeners for the practice. If they are following along, how should they position themselves?
Yes, we want to ensure safety first. If you're listening and you can safely follow along, we encourage you to try a few rounds with us. First, the position. Sit on the edge of your bed or in a sturdy chair. Ensure your feet are flat on the floor, really feeling that grounding connection to the earth.
Let your hands rest gently on your lap or on the armrests. Take a moment to consciously drop your shoulders, pulling them away from your ears. Visualize a string gently lengthening your spine, just slightly.
And if you feel safe, you can softly close your eyes or simply soften your gaze toward the floor. Now, place one hand lightly on your belly, just below the ribs. This is your focus point. You're inviting the belly to move first when you breathe in. It doesn't need to be forced, just a gentle outward expansion on the inhale.
That gentle invitation is key. Now, as we move into the box breathing practice itself, I have a crucial question. If the mind is already racing with worry, how can focusing on structured counting not just add another layer of anxiety or performance pressure?
That is a brilliant observation. For some people, simple counting can feel like another chore. Dr. Kenji addressed this by explaining that the structured 4444 timing provides a necessary cognitive load. It's not about achieving a perfect count. It's about giving the anxious mind a simple, rhythmic puzzle to solve. This mild task occupies the thinking, worrying brain, preventing it from spiraling. The mind is occupied, allowing the body to take over the calming process. Remember, we focus on evenness, not maximum length. If 4 counts feels too long, just use 3.
Understood. We will focus on the rhythm. Let's begin this gentle, guided practice together. We'll guide you through 4 full rounds, but you should continue as long as you feel comfortable.
Ready? Let's start by just emptying our lungs completely.
Slowly inhale through your nose, feeling the belly rise gently. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hold your breath, just gently containing the air. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now gently exhale through your mouth, like sighing softly or fogging a cool mirror. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Pause with empty lungs. Just notice that moment of stillness. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That is 1 full box. We are sending the signal of safety.
Let's move into round 2, focusing on letting your jaw and your face soften as you breathe.
Slowly inhale.
Group 1,
2, 3, 4.
While noticing the natural pause between whirls. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Gently exhale, releasing tension through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Pause, feeling the body settle deeper into the chair. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Round 3, slowing everything down, honoring that rule that sleep loves slow.
Slowly inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Gently exhale, focusing on that long, soft release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Pause, not 1, 2, 3, 4.
Round 4.
Just continue to breathe deeply and evenly, finding that internal rhythm.
Slowly inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Gently exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you continue this practice at your own pace for another minute or 2, notice any natural release. A deep breath, a small sigh, or even a slow blink. Dr. Kenji calls that moment the door to rest and repair. That release signals that the body is finally trusting the message of safety.
Dr. Kenji suggests extending this practice up to 5 full minutes if your mind is particularly loud. He says that is often when the real magic happens, when the ruminating thoughts truly slow down and the body accepts the invitation to rest. So we've calmed the brain with the structure of the breath. Now we transition into the second tool, gentle physical movement. This is where I want to pause for another important question. If the listener is already physically tired and exhausted, isn't introducing movement counterintuitive? Why move at all?
That's a critical question. It's counterintuitive if you think of it as exercise. But remember Dr. Kenji's observation. Sleep loves slow. We're not introducing high-effort movement. We are introducing release and decompression. The body holds stress, not just mentally, but physically, in the muscles and the fascia. If you try to force a tense body to sleep, it just resists. These gentle, rhythmic motions are a way to walk the body down into rest, signaling safety through release, not exertion.
Understood. It's an invitation to unwind the physical stress stored up in that bucket. The first movements are done seated, and we start at the top, focusing on where we carry the weight of the day, the shoulders.
Dr. Kenji beautifully describes shoulders as inboxes for stress. When the inbox is full, the posture tightens, which interferes with deep restorative sleep. This is seated movement 1, shoulder rolls. We need to gently empty that inbox.
You should still be sitting upright from the breathing exercise. Let your arms hang loose by your side. We'll start by rolling backward.
Slowly, almost reluctantly, lift your shoulders up toward your ears. Roll them back, feeling the space open up in your chest, and let them drop down completely. That is 1 slow circle. Just notice how the breath naturally deepens as your chest expands.
Continue this movement, linking it with your breath. Take 6 to 8 slow, full circles, rolling backward. Feel the muscles along the upper spine softening. This movement is about restoring that easy conversation between the nervous system and the body. We are giving permission for those muscles to stop guarding.
Now let's reverse. We'll roll the shoulders forward. Lift them up toward the ears. Bring them forward and down. 6 to 8 slow rolls. We're releasing that subtle forward hunch posture that happens when we sit watching TV or reading. We're inviting the shoulders to return to a neutral resting place.
That rhythm, synchronizing the soft movement with the breath, that seems to be the true therapeutic element here.
It is. And the next movement, seated movement 2, the bear hug, is perhaps the most powerful hormonal cue in the entire routine.
This is one we can guide interactively again. This movement is specifically designed to rapidly lower cortisol and, importantly, trigger the release of oxytocin. And oxytocin is the attachment and bonding hormone, which is a powerful chemical signal for safety.
Yes. Gently cross your arms across your chest. Wrap your hands around the opposite shoulder or upper arm, giving yourself a nice, comforting squeeze. Take note of which arm is on top. Doesn't matter which, but we'll switch later.
We're going to guide the hold now. Remember, this is a 20-second period, which can feel long when done slowly. We're using this time to deepen the sensory experience. Take a deep, gentle breath in.
And as you exhale, gently draw those elbows slightly inward, hugging yourself just a little tighter. Hold that gentle squeeze now.
1, 2, 3, 4. Stay with the feeling of the fabric on your arm, the pressure of the hug. 5.6, 7.8. This simple act signals self-compassion, which is profoundly calming. 9, 10, 11. Allowing your upper back to widen gently. 12.13, 14. The body interprets this embrace as a massive safety cue. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Gently release the hug, letting your arms drop completely. Feel that slight warmth and release in your shoulders. Now, switch which arm is on top. The one that was underneath should come over the top, and repeat that gentle process once more. Hold. Breathe in. And exhale slowly, drawing the elbows in for a gentle 20-second hold.
This self-hug is so profound because we spend so much of our time taking care of others. This is a moment to affirm to your own body, I am here and I am safe.
That self-affirmation is the oxytocin release at work. When you finish that second hug, take one relaxed breath, letting your arms drop down, and prepare to transition smoothly to lying down on the bed for the final dreaded sequence. If you need a moment to settle onto the bed, take it slowly. Remember, we honor the speed of the body.
Now we are moving on to the bed. This is where we fully commit to gravity and rest. Dr. Kenji's rule here is simple: maximum comfort. This entire sequence should be done lying flat on the back, but if you need support, please place a pillow under your knees or a rolled towel under your neck.
The position itself is the beginning of grounding the body. Lie flat on your back. Let your arms rest beside your body, slightly away from your sides, with your palms facing up. This small gesture, palms up, is a powerful nonverbal signal of surrender and release. It tells the brain, I am no longer gripping or fighting.
The very act of lying down signals to the nervous system that the day is concluding. From this grounded position, let's start with the first in-bed movement, which focuses on the communication center.
That is the head turns. Tension around the neck and the base of the skull often compresses nerves and restricts blood flow, impacting sleep quality. We're releasing the tension around the brainstem, which is essentially the master control tower for your autonomic functions.
Gently begin to turn your head extremely slowly to the right. Only go as far as is comfortable. Feel the sensation of the stretch along the left side of your neck. Pause there for just a beat.
Now bring your head slowly back to the center. Go slow enough that you feel the tiny shift in your balance, the subtle movement of your skin and muscle tissue.
And continue the same gentle movement, slowly turning your head to the left. Pause there for a beat, feeling the stretch along the right side.
Bring it back to center. Repeat this movement right to left and back to center 5 to 10 times total. You are moving at the speed of a slow pendulum. This simple rhythmic motion signals your vestibular system, your internal balance centers, to slow down and relax.
And crucially, how does releasing tension around the brainstem actually help with sleep?
Well, the brainstem houses key nuclei that regulate our sleep-wake cycle and our basic reflexes. When the muscles around it are tight from stress or bad posture, it's like having static on the radio. The head turns quiet, that's static, allowing the brainstem to efficiently transition into the slower, deeper rhythms needed for sleep without the persistent noise of tension.
Next, we move to the lower back and hips with the knee sway, which is also known as the windshield wiper motion.
Keep your knees bent so your feet are flat on the bed. Keep your feet somewhat close together, about hip width apart. Now let both knees gently sway together toward the right side. Don't force them to touch the mattress. Just move until you feel a gentle opening and twist in the low back.
Bring your knees slowly back to center. Now slowly sway them together toward the left side. Bring them back to center.
Continue this slow, gentle rocking motion for a full minute. This rhythmic movement is exceptionally soothing. It decompresses the lower spine after a day spent sitting, driving, or standing, and helps gently hydrate the sacroiliac joints. It introduces rhythm and safety, reminding the nervous system that the body is fluid and not rigid or frozen.
The rhythm seems like the common thread here, the breath rhythm, the movement rhythm.
It absolutely is. Rhythms are the language of the nervous system, and if the movement causes any discomfort, remember the rule. Just make the sway smaller or place a pillow between the knees for additional support. The goal is always fluid release.
That brings us to the hamstring release. This is where we undo Dr. Kenji's concept of going to bed shaped like a chair.
Tight hamstrings, often a result of chronic sitting, are notorious for pulling the pelvis out of alignment. And that causes discomfort that radiates into the lower spine, even when you're lying down. We need to gently lengthen them to flatten the lower back against the mattress.
We'll work one leg at a time. Keep one knee bent, foot flat on the bed. Now focus on the other leg. Place your hands behind the thigh, never behind the knee joint, and gently draw that thigh toward your chest.
Now very slowly, extend the leg upward toward the ceiling, only until you feel a mild stretch along the back of the thigh. This is the moment for compassion. No pain is allowed. If lifting is hard, just keep the knee bent and simply point the toes toward your face to feel that subtle release in the calf and hamstring.
Let's hold this stretch for the full 20 seconds, breathing softly into the sensation. Notice how this feels fundamentally different from forcing a stretch. We are inviting the muscle to relax.
Stay here, feeling the weight of the leg, breathing into the mild tension. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, allowing the pelvis to settle deeper. 15 seconds. Telling the muscle it is safe to let go. 20 seconds.
Slowly bend the knee and place the foot back on the bed. Now switch legs and repeat the same 20-second gentle, inviting hold on the opposite side. If one side feels much tighter, you've simply learned where your body holds more of that tension bucket. Just give it some soft attention.
Finally, we use the passive hip opener to activate the parasympathetic nervous system one last time.
Bring the soles of your feet together on the mattress, letting your knees gently fall open like butterfly wings. Gravity should do all the work here. This is not about achieving maximum flexibility. If you feel any strain in the inner thighs or hips, immediately grab some cushions or pillows and place them directly under your knees for soft support.
You're just resting into gravity. Dr. Kenji believes this posture is a profound nonverbal cue. It opens the pelvis, which often holds emotional and physical guarding. By letting the hips be open and relaxed, the body activates the rest, digest, heal, and sleep branch of the nervous system.
Hold this position for 30 seconds to, if it's comfortable, up to 2 minutes. The focus is simply on relaxing the inner tension and allowing the body to say, I can finally stop holding everything together.
And finally, we end with the final full body stretch, releasing the last stored bits of tension.
Gently bring your knees back together and stretch your legs out long on the mattress. Now, slowly reach your arms overhead and stretch your feet out long, lengthening your whole body from fingers to toes. A final, satisfying yawn-like stretch.
You can gently pedal your feet or circle your wrists if that feels good, releasing any last remaining tension. Hold that full stretch for just a few breaths, and then gently let everything go. Your arms return to your sides, your feet relax, your eyes soften or close. You are now fully grounded and ready for sleep.
That entire routine, done slowly with intention, takes only about 10 to 12 minutes. But the physiological and mental shift it initiates is truly profound. Let's synthesize the core philosophy now, focusing on Dr. Kenji's 3 essential rules for success.
His 3 rules are designed to ensure you maintain that state of safety and trust with your own body. The first rule is slow movements. We cannot emphasize this enough. Sleep has its own quiet speed. If you rush or yank or move quickly, the body registers that acceleration as exercise or effort, which instantly triggers a low-level threat response. You are gently guiding your body, moving like molasses, not rushing to finish.
The second rule, no force. Dr. Kenji says the body only listens when it feels invited, not attacked. If you catch yourself thinking, I should push harder or I should hold this stretch longer to be effective, back off immediately. We're trying to build trust with the nervous system, not challenge it. It's about compassionate maintenance, not peak performance.
And the third rule, work with, not against, the body. Acknowledge reality. Some nights you will feel stiffer or your mind will be louder. Instead of fighting that reality, approach it with compassion. You can say to your nervous system, I see you're struggling tonight. Let's just do 3 minutes of box breathing instead of 5. That act of self-compassion, that acknowledgement, is powerfully restorative in itself because it reduces the stress of performance anxiety.
This philosophy that the breath and body are the remote control of the brain is such a necessary shift away from trying to fix sleep only with effortful thought. It gives the body a nonverbal language of rest and trust.
Absolutely. When you adjust the breath and move gently, you are sending new positive data points to the brain. The shoulders say, we're not carrying that weight anymore. The spine says, we're not rounded in a chair. And the vagus nerve says, it's safe. The brain hears this quiet chorus and finally shifts from stay ready to let's repair and sleep.
Now, let's talk practical application. For our listeners who want to try this, Dr. Kenji's advice is always to start small. How should they approach implementation?
Don't aim for every night immediately. That just creates pressure. Aim for 3 solid nights this week. Consistency and rhythm is far more important than perfection every single night.
On those 3 nights, you must commit to turning off all screens, the TV, computer, or phone 15 to 20 minutes earlier than usual. That time is now reserved for the routine. Complete the full routine box breathing, seated movements, and the in-bed movements.
And this next instruction is absolutely critical for long-term success. After the final full body stretch, stay in bed. Do not pick up the phone again, even just to check the time. Do not read or get back on the internet. Just let your body, which is now warm and heavy and quiet, drift naturally into sleep. The system needs to learn that the end of the routine equals the start of sleep.
What if the listener falls asleep fine, but then wakes up at the classic time 2.0 or 3 a.m. feeling that familiar agitation? Should they get up and do the whole routine again? That risks waking the system up entirely.
That is the most common pitfall. No, do not sit up quickly. Keep the room dark or very dim. Instead, perform a strategic mini routine right there, lying flat in bed. Focus only on the most powerful cues to settle the system. 3 or 4 rounds of box breathing, done silently, without counting aloud, followed by a few gentle head turns, and maybe a small knee sway if it feels comfortable.
So you're providing a gentle, non-threatening reminder of safety.
Exactly. You are telling the nervous system nothing new is wrong, this is familiar, you are safe in your bed, you are allowed to go back to sleep. This immediate interruption of the anxiety cycle before the mind can start spiraling into I'll never get back to sleep is often enough to settle the brain back down and initiate a return to rest.
And what about our listeners who have limited mobility? Those who use walkers, have severe arthritis, or find getting in and out of bed challenging. How can they adapt this routine?
The power of this routine is its flexibility. If you can't safely transition onto the bed, focus entirely on the seated movements and the breathing. Do the box breathing while seated in a sturdy chair. Roll your shoulders gently. Give yourself that powerful bear hug. You can perform seated ankle circles too. Dr. Kenji stresses that even 1 or 2 pieces of the routine, particularly the breath, are exponentially better than 0. Because the breathing alone is a direct line to the vagus nerve. No one should feel excluded from this path to rest.
This routine truly is not a punishment or a chore. It is, as Dr. Kenji so beautifully framed it, a conscious 10-minute act of saying thank you to a body that has been faithfully on duty carrying your burdens for decades.
It gives you back a sense of control over nighttime anxiety, and it replaces the force of trying to sleep with the profound gentleness of giving permission to rest. You are actively draining the nervous system bucket.
As we close this deep dive, we want to leave you with Dr. Kenji's final essential message. We will say it slowly, allowing the meaning to truly settle into your heart.
Every breath you take, every gentle roll of the shoulders, every time you let your hips relax into gravity, you are telling your body with compassion and with truth, you did enough today, you may rest now.
Thank you so much for spending this quiet, reflective time with us on the Healthy Grandparents podcast and for allowing us to guide you through this restorative routine from Dr. Kenji Adams.
We truly hope this deep dive provides you with the effective tools you need for a quieter mind and a softer, less guarded body. This knowledge is yours now to use whenever you need it most.
If this deep dive helps you find a moment of peace, even if it's just the box breathing that sticks with you, please consider sharing it with another grandparent, a friend, or a neighbor who struggles with that frustrating 2 a.m. waking.
And if you'd like more gentle, science-informed routines like this, focused on joints, balance, and mood, make sure you follow and subscribe to the Healthy Grandparents podcast.
We wish you a quieter mind, a softer body, and a night where your nervous system finally hears the message it has been waiting for. You're safe. You're home. You're allowed to rest.
Good night.